Welcome back, dear viewers. Now it's time for our daily press review, and we are joined here in the studio Dr. Khaled Refaat, Director of Tiba Center for Political Studies. Good morning, Dr. Khaled.
Morning to you.
And we start off from Egypt news, and we read the following headline: Egypt celebrates spring festivals. Egypt celebrated on Monday the spring festivities with millions flocking to public parks and sea coasts. A number of Egyptian citizens spent the day in the Giza Zoo and other public parks, while others went to seashores like Hurghada and Sharm el-Sheikh to spend the spring festival of Sharm el-Nissim there. Meanwhile, General Director of Pyramids Archaeological Area at the Ministry of Antiquities, Dr. Hussein Abdelbasir announced that the archaeological site received on Monday more than 7,000 Egyptian visitors and 2,000 foreign tourists of various nationalities to celebrate Easter Day. Meanwhile, security measures were taken with the security forces intensifying their presence to secure the citizens during their celebrations. Officials boosted police traffic patrols and put hospitals on high alert. So, let's first focus on the flow of tourists to the Giza pyramids. Do you think that tourism will soon get back to its normal rates?
Yeah, it's great news because if you have 2,000 tourists now in May, which is out of the season, you know, the touristic season in Egypt became in October and ends in March. Yesterday was very hot too, was something like 39 Celsius, something like that. When you got 2,000 tourists at the same time out of season, at the pyramids area, this is a great news. I think the next tourism season is going to be very promising, and I think we should act very, very fast from now to enlarge the number, to condense and intense the media all over the world about the Egyptians and their safety and so on, because we have a big problem in the international media. Everybody in the national media is talking about the tourism in Egypt. No one now is talking about the Egyptian shores, the Egyptian tourism, and so on. I'd like to add something. When you spoke about the safety and security, I'd like to thank the Ministers of Defense and the Ministers of Interior, because yesterday they did a great job, actually. The best thing to ensure safety is to fulfill the magic equation between safety and freedom. When I go out, I'm going out to celebrate, to enjoy. I'm not going to go out to stop at every checking point. I'm not going to see a policeman at every corner. That's what happened yesterday. Yesterday there was safety, there was security, but you feel it, but you don't see it. This is the best thing. So I'd like to thank you. This is a new concept of thinking as the Ministry of Defense and Ministry of Interior. You got many moving patrols. You don't have the checking point at every inch. This was great. Actually, people enjoyed the day and felt safe at the same time.
Okay, moving to Al-Yom Al-Sabah newspaper, and we read the following headline: Prime Minister heads Economic Group Ministerial Meeting. Prime Minister Sharif Ismail heads on Tuesday the Economic Group Ministerial Meeting. The meeting is expected to tackle preparations for the holy month of Ramadan and the availability of supply goods to citizens and the development of their consumer centers. During the meeting, the Prime Minister will follow up the market's prices file. Earlier, the Prime Minister said that Egypt plans to accomplish all projects on time, adding that the priority will be given to projects that facilitate and improve social services provided to citizens. So first, let's focus on the government's preparations for the upcoming holy month of Ramadan and the measures that should be taken to control prices.
I think the meeting is a routine meeting because Ramadan comes every year, you know. So you need to make a new plan every year. You have a fixed plan, you can apply it every year. I have no problem with that. But my problem is how to control the prices. We get a big, huge inflation now in the market. We need to stop this inflation. I think Prime Minister and the all the economic ministers, the economic group, should work on that right now, because we have a big problem of inflation. As the interior debit came to, I think, how 2,400 billion pounds right now, and the exterior debit like $50 billion, which is a huge number. I think we need to focus on the price problem right now, because everybody now is suffering from that.
Yes.
You got inflation in the market, you got huge bills for all services right now. I'm not happy with that, actually.
Okay, moving to Nile News, and we read the following headline. A Speaker of Parliament participates in the African Parliament meetings. Speaker of Parliament Dr. Ali Abdel Al arrived in the South African city of Johannesburg on Monday for a multi-day visit to attend meetings of the current session of the Pan-African Parliament. The top parliamentarian is due to deliver a speech on Tuesday during the inaugural meeting of the Chamber's second ordinary session, which runs from May 3rd until May 13th. He will be sworn in before the Pan-African Parliament and deliver Egypt's speech to the meetings. During his visit, Dr. Abdel Al is planned to hold talks with the South African President Jacob Zuma to discuss bilateral as well as regional and international issues of mutual interest. The Pan-African Parliament, the PAP, is the legislative body of the African Union. Egypt's participation in the May session marks the resumption of its activities in the PAP after a 3-year pause. Dr. Abdel Al is heading a parliamentary delegation to attend the meetings of the African Parliament. Now, dear viewers, will go for a report on this visit, so stay tuned.
Parliament Speaker Dr. Ali Abdel Al is set to be sworn in and deliver a speech before the African Parliament, in a step to formally announce Egypt's return to the membership of the Parliament after a 3-year freeze. Abdel Al is accompanied by a parliamentary delegation which is participating in the ongoing African meetings in South Africa, which are due to continue until May 6th. During the visit, Abdel Al is set to meet with South African President Jacob Zuma to discuss means of boosting bilateral relations between both countries on the parliamentary level and other regional and international issues of mutual concern.
Welcome back, dear viewers. Now, Dr. Khaled, what is the significance of this visit by Speaker of Parliament, Dr. Ali Abdel Al, to South Africa, and the importance of Egypt's participations in such meetings?
Significance is the resumption of Egypt back again,
yes,
and resumption of activities after 3 years of pause right now, as you said. I think it's a good sign of Egypt coming back to its African region and its international region. Mr. Ali Abdel should meet with Mr. Jacob Zuma, the president, the South African president too. The meeting should start today and it's going to stay towards 13th for 10 days. But Mr. Ali Abdel will come back to Cairo on May 6th because the parliament sessions will start again May 8th, and they have a lot of laws, a lot of tasks. So I asked him to come back very soon to start working. The importance of Egypt in the African region, we should focus on it because this is our market. If we're going to start industries, we need to export our products. The market, the African market, is very, very huge, and it's virgin. Needs everything is waiting for everything.
Yes. And they're moving to Al Watan newspaper, and we read the following headline. Minister of Supply says coordination to receive wheat from farmers. Minister of Supply Dr. Khaled Hanafi said that there is a coordination as well as continuous cooperation and communication with the Minister of Agriculture Dr. Isam Fayed to provide all the facilities to farmers in wheat supply operations. The minister said that the operation includes resolving any obstacles facing the farmers for the success of the receipt of domestic wheat season and deliver as much as of the local wheat. He said that the local amount received is increasing day after day, and receiving operations continue daily from 8 a.m. until 6 p.m. and also on public holidays to all suppliers. He added the bodies under the ministry provide all facilities to the suppliers through the permanent operations rooms in the headquarters of the ministry and across governorates. Earlier, the Minister of Supply said that the wheat growers delivered 350,000 tons to the outlets of the Ministry of Supply since the inception of delivery season in mid-April. It said the government is keen on receiving the maximum quality of local wheat. So What are the facilities that should be offered to farmers to increase the production of local wheat?
It's price. The only governing thing is a price. If you higher the price, every farmer gonna. We have a big problem in wheat actually in Egypt, because Egypt is the largest importer of wheat all over the world. We import almost half of our consumption in wheat. There is a plan, the government plans that we should in 2020 import only 25% of this amount. So we need to encourage farmers to go to wheat. I think the price is the best thing. You said a good number is that 100,000 of wheat had been collected. The number we are targeting is 2 million. So I think we're going to make it this year.
Yes. And moving to Al-Yawm Al-Saba newspaper, and we read the following headline: Central Bank of Egypt governor visits Kuwait. Central Bank of Egypt Governor Tariq Amir headed for Kuwait on Monday for a 3-day visit to hold a meeting with banking sector officials. During the visit, Amir will discuss with the Kuwaiti officials ways to boost cooperation between the two countries in the financial sector. Meanwhile, Central Bank of Egypt pumped on Tuesday about $120 million to banks operating in the domestic market in the bank's weekly tender. The foreign reserves at the Central Bank of Egypt are on the rise following the UAE's deposit and the signing of new cooperation agreements with many countries. So, sir, let's focus on the importance of this visit by the Central Bank governor to Kuwait.
Actually, Mr. Tariq Hamel has a problem of the foreign reserve. Foreign reserve right now is $16 billion. Out of $16 billion, half of this amount are deposits. Last deposit was the Emirati deposit of $2 billion. And we should get another $2.5 billion of Saudi deposit too. But for the time being, this number is very, very critical, because this is our import for 3 months. So we need like 3 or 4 more billions before June. As this visit, I expect we got $1 or $2 billion from Kuwait, and they are expecting a loan from IMF of like $1 more billion too. So it should be safe, but actually for the time being, the reserve is very, very critical.
Yes. Okay, and moving to Al-Watan newspaper, and we read lull in Syria's Aleppo amid bids to end fighting. Syria's Aleppo city was calm on Monday after raids overnight as U.S. Secretary of State John Kerry prepared for talks in Geneva aimed at halting the violence. More than a week of fighting in and around Syria's second city has killed more than 250 civilians. Meanwhile, the Syrian Observatory for Human Rights said that rebel shelling of government-controlled western areas of Aleppo city killed 3 civilians, including a child. But the observatory chief Rami Abderrahman confirmed that quiet had returned to Aleppo city on Monday. Relative quiet in the city's rebel-held east on Monday morning allowed some residents to venture out into the streets, with some even opening up shops. Heavy airstrikes had hit the area hours earlier, but there were no immediate reports of casualties. Now, dear viewers, we'll have a quick report on the situation in Syria, so stay tuned.
Efforts to salvage Syria's ceasefire were to shift to Moscow on Tuesday as the country's second city of Aleppo reeled from a week of fighting that killed hundreds of civilians. A day after U.S. Secretary of State John Kerry launched a desperate push in Geneva to breathe life into the stuttering truce, Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov was to meet the UN envoy Stefan de Mistura in the Russian capital. The 2-month-old ceasefire brokered by the United States and Russia is under severe threat, and Kerry said on Monday that Washington and Moscow had made progress in trying to contain the bloodshed. Kerry said the conflict was in many ways out of control and deeply disturbing. The U.S. and Russia have agreed to bolster the number of Geneva-based ceasefire monitors, Kerry told reporters, pledging to work in the next hours to rein in violence on the ground. In and around Aleppo, a week of fighting has killed more than 250 people. Kerry accused President Bashar al-Assad's regime of deliberately targeting 3 clinics and a major hospital last week.
Dr. Khaled, let's focus on U.S. Secretary of State John Kerry's expected talks in Geneva that aims at halting violence. Do you expect an agreement to be reached soon?
No, not right now, but actually there is a fragile ceasefire, and this ceasefire is the first ceasefire since 5 years in Syria. As in the report, I'd like to focus on one point, that the Syrian Observatory of Human Rights, which is against the regime, confessed for the first time that all the destruction in Aleppo was caused by the rebels, not the government, not the regime. This is very important because, as you know, Aleppo is divided into two parts. The western side is governed by the regime, and the eastern one governed by the Aleppo, the rebels. Every destruction, all the shells, everything is targeting and aiming the western one, which is controlled by the regime. So I'm not going to listen to the international media, not going to listen to the Facebook and all the social media. The situation on the ground is the rebels are shelling the citizens, not the government are shelling the citizens. It's very, very important to focus on that. Another point, you asked me about what we expect from the talks in Geneva. I think just talk, no more like that, because the whole situation got ended by agreement between Russia and U.S. When Russia and U.S. came to the table and they agreed to, I think, complementary something, it's going to work as that.
Okay. And moving to Al-Yawm Al-Sabi newspaper, and we have the following headline: hot weather forecast across Egypt on Tuesday. Hot weather is expected to continue on Tuesday, with temperatures in the capital Cairo are expected to peak at high 40 degrees, while low temperatures will drop to 25 degrees. Meteorologists expect temperatures to witness a rise and hot weather to prevail on most parts during the day. They said that gradual decrease in temperatures will begin gradually to be moderate at night. Low and medium clouds will appear on the northern coast of the country, accompanied by light rainfall on the northwestern coast. Wind is expected to be moderate and active, especially on the north of the country, raising sand and dust and lead to the disorder of the maritime navigation in the Mediterranean and the Suez Gulf. Earlier, Egyptian Meteorologist Authority spokesman Wahi Saudi warns people of direct exposure to the sun and advised them to drink much water. So, sir, do you expect power cuts in the coming summer, as we see that there are soaring temperatures expected this summer?
I hope not. I hope not. I don't know. God save Egypt and God bless Egypt.
How do you evaluate the government's effort to solve the electricity crisis?
I think it's great. It was great. It's a real achievement. Because 1 year ago, if you remember, 1 year ago, we had a big problem of blackout every day. Actually, it was every day for 2 or 3 hours. Right now, we achieved this on the ground of it. And the Egyptian citizens, the normal Egyptian citizen, feel that. We used to have a problem in the bread too. You remember that? Bread, all these lines in front of them. We did that. We used to have a problem in fuel. Fuel. We solved that too, and now electricity, we solved it. So for the time being, we are going on the right
track.
The right path. What I want to say, there is a price, and the Egyptian citizen should know that we have to pay the price for that. We should suffer for a little time. I expect 1 more year or 2 more years as a maximum. But after that, there is a big breakthrough in the Egyptian economy, hopefully.
Okay, Dr. Khaled Refaat, Director of Tiba Center for Political Studies. Thank you for being with us.
You're welcome.
And now